What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the MiraCLE podcast with your host, Kaizy. The Browns finally won a game. Thank you. It's about dang time. 4-game losing streak. 4-game losing MiraCLE streak. And those are games we could have won. Mostly the Seahawks and the Broncos game. Games. 4-game losing streak, and we finally ended it against a pretty good Bills team. It wasn't pretty. Yeah, we have 3 wins. One against the Jets, one against the Ravens, and obviously this one against the Bills. The only win I'm truly satisfied with is the Ravens, because against the Ravens we played extremely well. We kind of put the beat down on them, and it was a fun game. The Jets we obviously crushed, but it wasn't pretty, and the Bills we barely beat, and it also wasn't pretty. But I gotta stop being negative. A win's a win. A win's a win. Maybe we can win a few more from here on out, string a few together, and be the team that we were the second half of last season. It would be nice to not always have to wait until halfway through the season to start playing well. But I guess beggars can't be choosers. If I want an above 500 season, then I'm going to have to take what I can get. But the Browns beat the Bills 19-16? Why do I never remember these scores? It was 19-16. I'm really, really awful at this. So the Browns won 19-16. Almost went into overtime, which would have stressed me out and everybody else. But the Bills, Steven Hauschka missed a field goal. It was so funny to watch that because everybody had the exact same reaction when he kicked that field goal to tie the game with however many seconds left. I don't know, 17. It looked really good. I mean, he kicked it, and you're all just like, that's going in. We're probably going to go to overtime. And then halfway through, I was like, that might not make it. That's starting to move a lot. And then he ended up, it was to the point where he barely missed it, so you weren't quite. It was hard to tell because the ball moves so fast, so you can't always tell if it went in front of or behind the field goal post. So for some people, it was like, oh my God, did he make that? That would have been so nerve-wracking. Thankfully, I have perfect 20/20 eyesight, so I was able to tell the difference. I was like, "Oh, he missed that." Did I just brag about my eyesight? What a weird flex. Oh well. Again, just another area where I'll take what I can get. You can't win them all, but I'm winning them there. But it wasn't the most fun game to watch. It wasn't pretty, but we did win. And so I'm hoping that we can kind of use that. We got a short week. It's crazy because I feel like we don't play again until Sunday, but we play tomorrow. That's just nuts. Browns football. 2 Browns football games within 4 days. We just played on Sunday, and now we play again on Thursday. I don't know if that's some cruel trick or some cruel punishment, or if it's a blessing. I mean, I love Browns football, but I don't, I hate it. At least currently. Maybe I'll like it when we win the Super Bowl this year. Who knows? But the Browns finally get a win. Like I said, the Bills are a good team. They were 6-2 at the time. Now they're 6-3. They're no scrubs. I mean, they have one of the best defenses in the league. I think top 5. If I'm not mistaken. So they're not bad. They're decent. We got our first home win for the fans, so that's nice, finally. It was Swagger Jr.'s first. There's a lot of superstitious things going on here. It was Swagger Jr.'s first game as the Browns mascot. And we also changed the end zone stripes from horizontal to vertical. I know a lot of people knew about that, but some people didn't, so I'll explain it. Last year, for the Browns home games, we had the orange and brown stripes in the end zone, and we do this year as well. Last year, they were vertical stripes. And so far this year, they've been horizontal stripes, and a lot of people are saying that that's why we suck. I mean, obviously, it doesn't have any effect on away games, but it does on home games. And we have had 1, 2, 3, 4 home games up to this point. Wow, that's it. Or 3 home games up to this point, I guess, if you're not counting the Bills game, of which we have won none. So they finally changed him, and we got to win. So that could be it, I think. Maybe. Either that or it's Swagger Jr., or maybe both. Who knows? But whether or not you believe in superstitions, we did get the win. Our first home win in front of the fans who were able to go to the game, despite, I don't know if it was actually that cold at the time. It's freezing right now, obviously. Currently, as I record this, it is 8 degrees? 9 degrees. We're making progress. So it didn't feel like it though. When I was outside, it didn't feel like it was 9 degrees. It felt a little warmer, but it's 9 degrees apparently. Point is, it's freezing and it's snowing, and I get mad about it. I know it's coming every year. It has to. That's just how it works. But I still get mad about it because I'm not really a cold person. And I guess life's cruel joke is that I get them all the time. So that's probably not true. I'm actually pretty fortunate with my immune system. But another weird brag. We're just chock full of them today. And we're only I don't even know. We're only 7.5 minutes in-ish. So I wish I knew how to spell. So we got our first home win, possibly because of superstitions, possibly not. But regardless, the team played pretty well. So my biggest beef with the game, I don't know. I guess really one of my only beefs, or at least the biggest one, is just that so Baker looked good. I think I saw I saw a stat that he, since the bye week in the 3 games since, against the Patriots, Broncos, and now the Bills, he's had 4 touchdowns and 1 interception. So that's obviously good. He's taken better care of the ball. And he's just playing well since the bye week in general. But I feel like the eye test would say differently because, I mean, you look at some of the throws he makes. There was a throw he made in the Bills game that should have been intercepted, but the defender dropped it. So, and it still looks like he's only making 1 or 2 reads tops. On the play where he threw to Jarvis Landry at the end of the game on that game-winning drive down the left sideline, sort of. It was like a fade on the left sideline. He had Kareem Hunt wide open for a touchdown. I mean, when I say wide open, I'm sure most of you saw it, but when I say wide open, he had the entire right half of the field to himself. There was no defenders over there. It was the most wide open I've ever seen anybody before. And then if he didn't feel like throwing to Kareem Hunt, if he had just glanced over a little bit, he would have seen OBJ wide open for a touchdown as well, albeit not as wide open. So he completed the pass and we ended up scoring. But the thing is that it was one of those situations where if we didn't end up scoring, then I would have been really mad about it. And it's just in general, I'm sure the play doesn't call for, I talk about the difference between Baker making reads and, going through his progression. But then, Kareem Hunt may not have even been in his progression. Kareem Hunt may have just been a red herring or a distraction. Right, so I have to respect that. But Jarvis, it wasn't like Jarvis was wide open. If Jarvis was wide open, even if it wasn't for a touchdown, that's fine. But Jarvis was covered. I think he was double covered. He had a safety over top and then a guy on him, and it was a tough throw to make. So at that point, you go to your second read, which is most likely OBJ, who was wide open. And if you see him, there's a guy on him, so maybe you don't want to throw it to him. He was open, but there was a guy close by, so maybe you don't want to make that throw. And then you make your third read a little bit more to the right, and you see Kareem Hunt wide open for the easiest touchdown of all time. So I'm really just kind of being pessimistic about it, I guess. I don't know. But I just want him to be able to make those reads in the future, because those types of things will cost us games at some point. And, those are the types of things that great quarterbacks can do. Your first read isn't completely wide open, so you don't force the throw. You just look over a little bit and you have somebody wide open for the touchdown. But nonetheless, we still ended up scoring on that drive thanks to a Rashard Higgins sighting, finally. Don't know where he's been. I'm still mad about it. He's one of my favorite players on the team. I love Rashard Higgins, and he's extremely valuable to that offense, and yet we haven't seen him since he got injured. And obviously we didn't see him because he was injured, but we haven't seen him since he's gotten back, which I've complained about probably every podcast since then. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but it annoys me and it bothers me, and it really sucks that Antonio Callaway is ahead of Rashard Higgins on the depth chart. I'm going to complain about that for the rest of the time until it changes, because he's not as good. And then Mary Kay Cabot sends out a tweet saying that he was benched for this game because he was late. He was late to it. Give me a break, man. Like, we're all late to things, but how are you late to a game? I even show up to those games 2 hours ahead of time, almost. At least an hour. And I guess I understand that when they say late to the game, they mean like he wasn't there prior to 3 hours ahead of time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're supposed to be there at 10 o'clock and he got there after that, So it's not like he showed up after 1. Which if he did, dude, cut him. If he showed up to the game after it started, cut him. Oh my God. But the fact remains is that he showed up late to the game. And maybe it's just me being petty, but to me, that's just adding fuel to the fire of me wanting to cut him anyway. I don't like Antonio Callaway. Give up on him. I have no problem saying that. I'm all for sticking with people and being patient. Just give up on him. I don't want him. Trade him for something. We have 3 really good starting receivers. Damian Ratley could be a good 4th. Antonio Callaway adds some depth, but get another reliable, smart, decent receiver in the draft for him. Like get like a 3rd round pick, which is where I think you got him anyway. Maybe in the 4th round. And you want to know why you got? There's a reason we took him in the 4th round. There's a reason for that. And those reasons are making themselves evident. He's getting suspended. Already started off last season, his rookie season, with the whole weed incident in Florida, which at the time wasn't a big deal. I'm just mad about it now because it helps my point, to be fair. But I just don't like him. I don't want him to play. I don't think he should be on the team. Trade him, cut him. I don't care. I just want Higgins to play, honestly. Like, I guess that's really what the truth is that I want Higgins to play instead of Callaway. But even if Higgins weren't there, I really also don't like Callaway that much. I just don't think he's cut out for the NFL. But I hope he proves me wrong. I'm all for that. I'm all for him proving me wrong, believe me. Just not a fan currently. But then as far as other receivers go, OBJ, we're getting him the ball a little bit more. I still think we're forcing it too much. Like, yeah, you want to get him the ball, but not if he's double covered, not if he's going to keep dropping it, not if it's not going to work out, not if they know that's your game plan. Why would you force it to anybody? Like, other than your running back. Like, you want it. I feel like your running back, you have to give it to. Like, you don't want to give up on the run. You want to keep it going, especially when it's worked as well for us as it has, and especially when Nick Chubb is good and Kareem Hunt is now back, who is also a pretty good football player, if I would say so. So I don't know. I guess maybe there are times where you force it to somebody. I just feel like that's not a good game plan. I feel like you should just throw to whoever's open, right? On regular pass plays. And if he's not, then so be it. But the point is, he looked pretty solid. I didn't necessarily like his catch to target ratio, or catch to completion ratio, I guess. He was targeted a lot, but he didn't catch it a lot. I'm pretty sure. But that's what you have Jarvis for, who also looks incredible still, which is great. Even with two of our tight ends out, you still have Demetrius Harris killing it. So he did pretty well. And, of course, you got Kareem Hunt back. And, man, he looked like Kareem Hunt. I figured that when he got back, everyone knew he would be involved in the offense, but I figured he'd be like maybe a Duke Johnson kind of guy, come in on third downs, play a lot of receiver. I didn't think he would take away from Nick Chubb too much, who is the feature back. And really, he didn't. Nick Chubb still got a lot of production, a lot of touches. Oh my God. I don't know if you guys heard that, but that was an interesting noise. It sounded like a demon gargling mouthwash. But Kareem Hunt, was able to play really well and get a lot of touches without Nick Chubb suffering. For the most part, I think Nick Chubb got over 20 touches still. So, and they did a lot of different stuff. They had a 2 running back set. They had Kareem Hunt out at wide receiver. Sometimes they had him in there alone. They definitely made room for him. Absolutely. Which again, it goes back to the point that I made a few weeks ago when we traded Jannard Avery. If you have a good player, you make room for him. Just saying. But I digress. So he looked good. I'm going to really like having him in that offense. And I'm excited. It's fun to watch both of them play together, honestly. It was fun to watch Kareem Hunt play. I've always enjoyed watching him play. Obviously, of course, nobody should be a fan of what happened off the field, but nothing I can do about it. So all I care about right now is that he just plays good football and stays out of trouble as well. I feel like I'm all over the place here. And I also probably should have talked about it earlier, but the Browns continue to have a lot of red zone struggles, which is also not great. I don't know what the deal is there. We were one of the best red zone teams in the league last year, and now we're probably one of the worst. When you can't punch it inside the 5-yard line on 11 tries, something's wrong. And everyone was blaming the play calling. I don't know. I think even I was kind of blaming it. I don't actually, real time, I don't think I was blaming the play calling at all. I was just frustrated that we couldn't get it in. Just score. We have 11 tries from inside the 5. Just score. I didn't think the play calling was horribly bad. Whatever. I think maybe it could have been a little better because all we did was run a fade and a run up the gut, basically, at least the first time around. We did a couple of fades, maybe one pitch, and then 3 or 4 runs up the gut. Right? And that's what everyone was calling for. It's like you can't say that Freddie needs to run the ball every single time with Nick Chubb from inside the 5 and it's a guaranteed score. We complained about him not running the ball at all. Inside the 5, and that he didn't give it to Nick Chubb enough. And now we're complaining that he ran it too much. Like you can't do that's just hypocritical. You can't say like, oh, you need to run it X amount of times and then get mad when he runs it X amount of times. Like he did exactly what we were all wanting him to do weeks ago. So the first time around on those 8 tries, I guess Kareem Hunt wasn't in on any of those plays, which that is suspect. Because either bring him in instead of Nick Chubb and run a pitch or a stretch, or maybe even run him up the gut just to see if he can get something that Chubb couldn't. Run him as a receiver, run him on a screen, little shovel pass maybe, which I think we did the second time around. I think we did a shovel pass to Nick Chubb, which would have worked if you watch that replay. Again, I think it was the second set of goal line plays where we ran a little shovel pass to Nick Chubb. He had an open lane, and he had blockers in front of him, and he would have scored. He just dropped it. So that's on Nick Chubb, and I guess just the overall poor execution of our goal line offense. And then fortunately, we got bailed out by a false start, and Freddie decided to kick it instead of going for it. At that point, after 11 tries, I was like, please don't be stubborn. You're not going to get it. That's going to turn the tides of this game. Just kick the field goal, take the points, and live to fight another day. Try to do it next time on 3 downs. So kind of got bailed out by a false start, which sucks to say, but you know how I feel about Freddie, so I won't get into him again. I'm still not hot on him, but he won this time, which is good. I mean, I'm not saying I want him to lose. Dude, if Freddie Kitchens can win out the season and start coaching better and stays the head, like I don't want him to be the head coach right now, but like, and I don't think he will be the future head coach of the franchise, but if he is, then great. I don't care. Again, I'm totally fine with being proven wrong about that. If he can win a bunch of games and show that he is a good coach or the coach of the Browns' future, then by all means do it now, please, sooner rather than later. That would honestly be awesome. I'm not going to complain about him coaching well and getting us wins. Preferably, again, sooner rather than later, preferably now and maybe even next season if he gets another chance, but I don't really see much after that. I don't really see him sticking around much after that if he doesn't. So, hopefully he's able to prove me wrong. That would be good. But the point is that our red zone offense was has been all season a little bit lackluster. But I wouldn't blame this past game's issues on the play calling necessarily. I think people are just trying to find something to pick at. I mean, it wasn't perfect, right? But we just didn't execute. I know Freddie says that all the time, but now I'm saying it. We just didn't execute on those plays. We gotta get in. We gotta do our job and get in the end zone. So I don't know. That's really all I have. I feel like. I mean, I'm not done, right? I feel like maybe I'm finding less and less to talk about these games. Maybe I'm not. Maybe that's just how it goes over the course of the season. But whatever. Browns play tomorrow on Thursday, which is crazy and also super awesome. But then they don't play for a week and a half after that, so I guess it's really not that awesome. Got a tough matchup against the Steelers. They're now 5-4. Won 4 out of their past 5. No, they won 5 out of their past 6. Even worse for us. So they're playing real well somehow. They just beat the Rams, which, the Rams aren't great this year, really, but they did beat us. And the Steelers look pretty good. Their defense is crazy now. They get Minkah Fitzpatrick, and all of a sudden their defense flips a switch and is one of the best in the league. It's crazy. But they're looking good, so I'm not feeling great about the matchup, especially on a short week, but they are also on a short week, so it kind of evens out, I guess. So there really isn't much of an excuse, I suppose. But they look good. They're coming off a win. We're coming off a win. They're second place in the AFC still, and we are third because the Bengals still don't have a win. They're 0-10. They very well could go 0-16. I think their only win of the season, if they get one, might come against us, and that makes me nervous. I think if the Bengals get a single win this season, it's going to be against us. I don't like that. But anyway, so the Steelers are in second at 5-4. Ravens won again, so they're 8-2. Right? Yeah. So it'll be tough, but if we win, okay, no, we'll still be in third if we win because we're 2 games behind them, I think. So they'll be 5-5. We would be 4-6. Yeah. Yeah, no, that works out. So we need to win, though, to get ourselves back in the, maybe not even necessarily the playoff race, but at least the division race, right? Try to get second at least. That would be good. And just getting another win, 2 in a row, which we haven't done all season, would be really nice. And at home, even better. On Thursday Night Football, I mean, I think I've been really off about them this week. I feel like I've called a lot of games where I said they would win, which they didn't, even though everybody's done that. And I've called games where I thought they would lose, where they won. Like against the Ravens and against the oh no, I guess I predicted they'd beat the Ravens, but I predicted the Bills would beat them. Excuse me. I don't know, though. I'm feeling really good about this game. I don't know if it's because we're coming fresh off a win or if it's on Thursday Night Football or if it's home. I don't know what it is. I'm feeling good. As good as the Steelers look and as bad as we are against them, I'm feeling pretty good about it. Don't know why. But I guess I'm going to predict us to win. And for some reason, I don't think it's going to be all that close either. Like, you would think I'd say it's close just because they're a good team. We're coming off a win. We're at home. Thursday Night Football, division rivals. So you'd think it'd be kind of close, unless you think that the Steelers would blow us out, which again is a possibility, which is a good possibility because, again, we don't play well against them. We suck against the Steelers, generally. But I think we're going to win pretty convincingly. I might say like 30-13. That's going to be... Oh, I can't wait to be so wrong about that next week. I can't wait for that to just slap me in the face. Wow. I'm going to be so wrong about that. We're going to lose 30-13 just because I said something dumb like that. Nah, I'll say I don't think we'll score 30. I don't think our offense is that good. 24-13. Which still, that's over a 1-possession game, so it's not still not particularly close. But whatever, at least now I can relax on Sunday. Don't have to deal with getting frustrated about them. I can get it over with early this week. Or, unless we win, which even if we win, I still get frustrated anyway, depending on how we play. But if we win, it won't be that bad. I'll get over it a lot faster than if we lost, I'll tell you that. So Browns win 24-13. That's my official prediction, which means we go into our Around the League segment. I feel like there hasn't been much going on. The 49ers finally lost to the Seahawks in overtime. That was such a good game. Can we get more of them? Let's get more of those games, dude. That was incredible. I mean, I was looking forward to it all week because I was like, oh, it's going to be a good game. Like, it was one of the best games. People thought it was going to be one of the best games all season because San Francisco was undefeated. The Seattle was really good, and it lived up to the hype. It was a good one. So I want to get more games like that. But the 49ers lose their first of the season, which means there are no longer any undefeated teams, and there's only one winless team, which again is the Bengals at 0-10. And I think I already mentioned it. Who did the Ravens beat the Bengals? That's right. So they're still looking real good at 8-2. Mentioned that. Lamar Jackson looks incredible. Dude, Lamar Jackson's a cheat code, man. See, now, when he got drafted, everybody was like, oh, he can't throw. He's just a runner. People wanted to make him wide receiver, blah, blah, blah. I thought it was a pretty good pickup for them. Like, I was never, and not to say that everybody's a hater of Lamar Jackson, but I've always kind of liked him. I didn't think it was a bad draft pick, Like, I didn't think he was going to be as good as he is, and I didn't think he was going to be like a Hall of Famer, but I thought he was going to be solid. I thought that there was a lot of room to improve and a lot of area to grow. I don't know if that makes sense, but, or at least how I articulated it. But I always thought he was going to be good. Again, though, I didn't think he was going to be this freaking good. He's literally a cheat code. Defenses can't stop him. I mean, he absolutely is Michael Vick 2.0. I feel like Michael Vick might have been able to throw a little bit better, but I say that, and Lamar has some of the best passing numbers in the league. I don't think his yards are up there with some of the better quarterbacks, but I think his efficiency is. He has a lot of touchdowns. I mean, they're making it work. Listen, even if he can't throw, so what? Even if he can't throw, so what? They're still winning. They're still 8-2. They still beat the Patriots. They're still an extremely good team who also have a pretty good defense. It's not bad. It's pretty good. So he's in the MVP talks. It's pretty much just him and Russell Wilson right now. Patrick Mahomes has a lot of time to get there. But between the 2 games he missed due to injury and the fact that the Chiefs have not really been playing as well as they have last season, I think they're 6-4 right now because they lost to the Titans, which they lost to the Titans. So they're not playing great. But Patrick Mahomes, like I said, still has a lot of time to repeat his MVP season. But for the most part right now, it's probably between Russell Wilson and Lamar Jackson. I think Russell Wilson has a slight edge currently. Like, if you were to give the award now, I think Russell Wilson would get it, but Lamar's super close, man, and he's gaining on Russell for sure. And I think he might, if things continue the way they have been, then I think Lamar Jackson will pass him in 1 or 2 more games. I don't think that's super far-fetched. So those are your most likely MVP candidates currently. Maybe if you want a third one, you put Patrick Mahomes in there. I'm trying to think who else has been really good. Yeah, I don't know. Christian McCaffrey, perhaps. I don't know. But that's kind of what it looks like now. We're going into week 11, which is the 10th game for most teams. We're well over halfway through the season, and that's crazy. Like, we're into the super cold weather. There's going to start being snow games. I think there already has been a few. At least I think there was one in Green Bay this most recent week. So we're getting into the real cold season. Some people say it's football weather. I think that I don't know. I don't think that snow and freezing cold temperatures is football weather, but some do. But whatever. I digress. We're over halfway through the season. It's cold outside. It's snowing. We're getting close to playoffs. After this week, we'll probably we're already making playoff pictures. We're already kind of coming up with the playoff race and the playoff picture if it were to start today, or if they were to start today. So it's crazy how fast the season goes by. You think that 16 games in 16 weeks or 17 weeks. 16 games in 17 weeks is a long time, but clearly not. It goes by so fast every year. I mean, I guess 2 months until playoffs sounds like a long time. I guess when I put it that way, there's 2 months. I mean, there's a little less than 2 months until playoffs, but about 2 months. It sounds a lot better. I mean, our last game is December 29th, at least for the regular season. So, I mean, playoffs start in January, which is a month and a half away. And a month and a half, now that I'm saying what it actually is, sounds a lot closer than 2 months. I mean, it is closer, obviously, but it sounds more than just 15 days closer. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. But we're getting there. We're almost at the end of the season. Playoffs start relatively soon. They're not too far in the future. That's just nuts, man. Goes by way too fast. I wish football was an all-year thing. Or maybe it started early. I mean, that's just me being selfish. I kind of understand the logistics of it and everything. But, I mean, we're 2 months away from me. Well, let me think. So 1, 2. We're like 2.5 months away until the Super Bowl, which means we're 2.5 months away from me being depressed for 6 months until football starts again. Maybe until the NFL draft, depending on how the Browns do, because I was not too interested in this most recent one because we actually did well, and we didn't really have that high of a draft pick. So it's crazy to me. We're almost there. I know I've already said that 4 times, so enjoy the drinking game that you just created with that. But let's get into my Week 10 picks. I went 6-7. While I was going through the scores, I started out like 0-5, and then I kind of started winning the back half of the schedule that I see here on Google. Falcons crushed the Saints 26-9, so that was unexpected. But good for the Falcons, I guess, for getting, their second win. They're almost as good as us. Crazy. Jets beat the Giants in the Battle of New York. I predicted the Giants would win, but I kind of saw that coming maybe. I wasn't too surprised that the Jets won and that it was fairly close. Titans beat the Chiefs. Did that? No, it did not go into overtime. Harrison Butker missed the game-winning field goal was blocked, actually. So that's nuts as well. Let's see here. What else was crazy? Dolphins won again, so that's 2 in a row for them, if I'm not mistaken. And the Colts, they beat the Colts 16-12. The Colts aren't a bad team. The Colts are kind of middle tier, maybe upper middle class kind of team. They're solid. And they were home, so I'm surprised that the Dolphins were able to beat them. But good for them. They've won 2 in a row. Now's their time to make a run. I mean, they were 0-8, so they could go 8-8 potentially if they win out, right? It's possible. I don't think that's going to be good enough to get them into a playoff spot, but that's 500, so take what you can get. That's so funny. I mean, it's probably not. It isn't. It's just cool to see them win 2 in a row. I don't know. And it was obviously a shocker that they beat the Colts. Steelers beat the Rams. I think I already touched on that. And the Seahawks beat the 49ers in overtime. So nothing really too crazy, other than the Falcons and Titans. The Falcons beating the Saints and the Titans beating the Chiefs. I guess maybe the Dolphins beating the Colts was a little. Most people probably thought that would not have happened, but I think they'll win a few more. I didn't think they were going to win one game for the season and that was it. I just didn't think, and I don't know what their schedule looks like. I just didn't think they would beat the Colts. But I think they'll probably win a few more, maybe 4-12, kind of something like that. So we went 6-7 on Week 10. Now let's get into Week 11. Woo! First game of the week, Thursday Night Football. Obviously tomorrow the Steelers at Browns. I said the Browns would win that 24-13. Then starting on Sunday at 1 o'clock, Jets at Redskins. Redskins, I guess. That's just going to be another terrible game. Jaguars at Colts. That's tough because the Colts just lost to the Dolphins. I'll take the Colts, though. Bills at Dolphins. Take the Bills. Cowboys at Lions. Lions. Texans at Ravens. That'll be good. I'll take the Texans. I think the Ravens are due for a loss. Falcons at Panthers. I'll take the Panthers. Saints at Buccaneers. Take the Saints. Although didn't the Saints go the distance with the Bucks a few weeks back? Let me see if I can find this here. It might take me a minute to scroll up, but I'm pretty sure the Saints and Bucks. The Bucks almost beat the Saints. Wasn't it an overtime game from what I remember? Saints at Jags, Panthers at Bucks. There were only okay, it just didn't update. It was only showing 6 games in week 5. I was like, that's not right. Yeah, Saints and Buccaneers 31-24. They barely won. Okay. Well, I think the Saints are gonna win again. So Saints and Buccaneers, I'll take the Saints. I was just curious how it went last time, but yeah, the Saints will win again for sure. I think at least. Broncos at Vikings, I'll take the Vikings. And then starting at 4 o'clock, you have the Cardinals and 49ers. I'll take the Niners. Patriots at Eagles. I'll take the Patriots. Bengals at Raiders. I'll take the Raiders. And then on Sunday Night Football, you have the Bears at Rams. I'll take the Rams, I think. I think that'll be a pretty good game. But I'll take the Rams in that one. And then lastly, on Monday Night Football, you have the Chiefs at the Chargers. I'll take the I'll take the Chiefs. I know they haven't been great, and I know they've been losing a few, but Patrick Mahomes is back and healthy, and Tyreek Hill has been healthy for a while, and I think they'll kind of start to mesh a little bit more and go back to being the good team that we know them to be. So I'll take them in that one. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So we only have 2 bye teams this week. Too lazy to figure out which 2 teams those are. But that's a lot of football. We're starting to get out of the bye weeks. I don't know what the latest one is. Probably week 12 if I had to bet. Let me see what week 12 is. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So, yeah, week 12 is the latest bye week for everybody. Unless nobody has a bye week 13, but they do 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So week 12 is the last bye week. So we're almost getting out of that. We're almost done with the byes. Got a lot of football left, everybody. Even though I just complained about how we're almost done with the season, but still have a lot of football left. So, thanks for listening. Thanks for tolerating all my rambling on this freezing cold Wednesday, or whenever you're listening to this. Maybe you're listening to this in 8 months after the Browns win the Super Bowl and it's super warm outside. Who knows? But regardless of when or how or what the temperature is like, thank you for listening to this. I appreciate it. If you're listening on YouTube, feel free to give it a like, a comment, and hit that subscribe button. Just for fun. See what happens. Hopefully the Browns win tomorrow. And whether or not they do, I'll still be here next week. My mood will probably be a lot different. Although, maybe not. My mood might be the same if I have 6 days to cope with the loss. Kind of process it, cope with it, get over it. So maybe it won't matter. But if we do win, I'll definitely be in an even better mood because we won 2 in a row and things are starting to look pretty good. At any rate, thanks again for listening as always, and I'll talk to you later. Peace out, everybody.